Pre-selection is when a woman chooses you because other people are competing. You know, they always say that if other chicks are with you, if you're seen with another girl, that the girl you want to get with, or other women see you as somebody that is valuable. You want to have a hot girl, see other hot girls, but you would say, oh, you're already pre-selected. The thing is, though, I actually have to get that. I wrote a post about this. I think I read it recently. Guy. Followed him around. And he had people. He went to a mall, and he had people, his people, just sort of plant the rumor that this guy was the actor from that new Spider-Man. And so, consequently, as these developed, this guy was going through the mall. He had girls coming up to him, taking pictures with him, wanting to get with him because he had a video crew following him around. And the guy was completely this anonymous dude, right? But he wanted to prove the point that pre-selection is everything, especially when it just comes to human beings in general, but certainly with women who are looking for quality and are looking for a guy who's going to have more. New York's talking about baseline to go up. They're looking for that up. Somebody can tell them that this person has an up or has a higher level. That does the work for a higher level. So the girls are saying he's the mom. He has they go through all these qualifications without selection. So the reason that I say that you should not tell them is something themselves. When we get into some of these other plans later on, we'll understand why I say this. But for the time being, it's important to understand that guys try to buck themselves, try to get into a position of selection by bringing a woman to the conclusion that he has pre-selection, that other women want to get with him. And when guys don't understand how women communicate, how men communicate, there's nothing more overt in communication than telling a woman how many women you've slept with. Now, that's you as a guy telling that woman. So this is part one. So the reason most guys tell a woman how many other women they've had sex with is because they're looking for pre-selection. That makes them more inauthentic, and that makes really pre-selection and what's the other word? The pre-selection and social proof is something that a woman has to do on her own. You cannot lead her to that. You cannot tell her overtly, "Hey, I'm famous." Right? That sounds like you sound like a dick. You sound like you're trying to try hard. So that's number one. The other case that happens is when women hit you up, and this is probably the most common. They'll say, "How many girls have you been with?" You'll get that question. How many other women have you been? You know, like they're trying to dodge that question. Right? So they throw that back on you. They'll ask you how many you've been with, and usually that's a shit test. That's a shit test, not necessarily. She doesn't really want to know the answer. She's just trying to see if you will answer that. Because I tell guys, I say, look, if you ever get that question, girl, always sidestep it. Say, you mean today? Or you turn it into something cocky and funny. Turn it into agree and amplify. Turn it into something where you're exaggerating the number like through the roof. You know, something that's gonna not give her a straight answer. Because what she's trying to do is she's trying to figure you out. She's trying to dissect, is this guy alpha or is this guy beta? Is this guy a player or is this guy not a player? And a lot of guys will think, well, you know, if I'm asked that, then I'm going to say, you know, I've been with 60 women, whatever. Or I've been with 7 women. And then usually when, it's funny because when guys want to lead a woman to the idea that he has social proof, he'll exaggerate. He'll say, yeah, I've been with this many women. But when a woman asks him how many women have you been with from the opposite side, they tend to understate how many they've been with because they think that they're being asked that because they're being vetted for a long-term thing. So if you've already had sex with a woman and she asks you how many women you've been with, she's trying to establish whether or not you are alpha. If you haven't had sex with her and she she asks you that question. It's more of what's your value, or and are you alpha? Okay, it's more of a shit test. And I really think that the key to passing that shit test is to just really, first of all, don't offer it up, and then second of all, if you are pressed for that, it's actually an opportunity. It's a shit test, but it's a really easy shit test to pass if you know how to really apply it. But again, the basics, the fundamental reason not to do that, you're playing into her friends by doing that. You're answering. She's the inquisitor, and you are answering the questions, and it's the opposite way. You're the one who should be asking.
Yeah, that's excellent point. Because number one, we're talking about frame anyway, so that's a good way to wrap that up. Let's hop into number 3. So, number 3 states, any woman who makes you wait for sex, or by her actions implies she's making you wait for sex, the sex is never worth the wait. That's been my experience. I could definitely write testimonials to that one, but yeah, what's the reasoning behind higher rule number 3 with the whole notion of waiting for sex? I mean, I've noticed that, generally speaking, there's always the alpha fucks and the beta buck side of things, and it tends to be, if it's alpha fucks, it can be very quick. So younger women, they're in that right phase of their menstrual cycle, versus the other side where it's like maybe they're in their 30s and they're looking at guys for more beta bucks for long-term relationships, and they tend to what's your thinking behind why they try to make guys really want to?
I'll give you a quick story about this. As you know, I work in the liquor industry, and I generally choose women to be, booth candy or like a martini fest or something like that. I usually select these girls, and they're usually hot young girls. And part of my unique situation is that I'm in social situations where I can be a people watcher. I call myself sort of a Jane Goodall of modern meeting market, really, because I'm out there watching this happen. One of the conversations that I listen to girls, and I've heard this more than once, but from my girls, I call them cool girls. The one girl would ask the other guy, "Have you ever done sex with after meeting?" Of course, the other girl says, "Well, yeah, of course I have, but only if he's not relationship material." So that's chick logic. It's like she'll have sex with a hot guy that she meets right then and there because it's immediate and they want to have sex. But if the guy seems like he has some sort of boyfriend material, relationship material, long-term material for that guy, has some sort of potential for that, then she'll make him wait. But she won't make the other guys. I remember distinctly hearing that story and thinking about that story when I was writing this. I'm like, that seems really contradictory, but again, it's chick logic. There's this idea that they don't want to feel good about the guy that is no one gives the impression that she's a slut, but yet she is a slut with the guy who is the short-term potential, who the hot guy is. In that photo, I call that guy the hot guy that she met on spring break in the foam cannon party. And those are the events where women or the young women just sort of throw caution to the wind. They're ovulating and they're like, "Hey, let's go. It's girls' night out. Let's go have fun. I'm going to go have sex with the guy that I can get with that I want to. I'm not going to worry about so much the long-term type thing." But then when that woman meets a guy who is he has a relationship potential, that's the guy that she'll make wait because she doesn't want her to think that she's the type of girl that will foam candy party. But you have to understand, why is she doing it? Why is she reserving herself? Why is she not giving her full 100% desire to the guy who she thinks of as relationship material, but yet is throwing caution to the wind